What's up, everyone? Brandon from Reach Home Loans. I want to talk a little bit about the differences between working with a bank and working with a lender such as us, Reach Home Loans. Now, there's a multitude of differences, but I just want to really focus on three key differences, and that's really flexibility, availability, and service. So what do I mean by flexibility? So when I'm talking about flexibility, I'm talking about the ability to work within and around mortgage guidelines to make it easier for you or a borrower to qualify for a mortgage. Most banks, and this doesn't apply to everyone, but most banks are going to be very, very stringent on their guidelines. And most have additional guidelines on top of the existing guidelines. Those are called overlays. Overlays are basically guidelines on top of guidelines. Something like that might be that on a conventional mortgage, you can actually go down as low as a 620 credit score, but the bank might require at least a 680 credit score. That would be a guideline on top of a guideline, or an overlay. Where when you work with a lender such as ourselves, we just follow Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's guidelines. So if they require a 620 credit score minimum for a conventional loan, that means we can lend to someone with a 620 credit score, as long as they meet the other requirements, of course, right? Having money for their down payment if they're buying, and so on and so forth. So that's flexibility, right? Able to work within and around mortgage guidelines. Now let's talk about availability. Well, we all know the term, or I think we all know the term, banker's hours, right? 9 to 5. Doesn't mean all bankers only work 9 to 5, but that term came from somewhere, right? Most banks are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. When you work with a lender, at least us, we make ourselves available around the clock. So if we're awake, we're going to be available to our clients. Now you might say, why would I need a lender to be available to me around the clock? Well, that's a great question. Mortgage transactions don't begin and end at 9 to 5. That doesn't make any sense, right? And leading up to you even going under contract for a property, the lender needs to be available for phone calls, to run numbers for you, make sure that you understand what the payments are going to be for a specific property, make sure that we reach out to the listing agent to put in a good word for you, letting you know exactly what process we follow to get you pre-approved and why your offer should be accepted over the many others I'm sure they have in this current market, right? That's availability. You want someone, or I would think you would want someone who's available to you outside of those traditional banking hours. You might work 9 to 5. Does that mean you're going to be available between 9 to 5? No, you're probably available after 5 or before 9 a.m. or maybe on the weekends. A lender such as ourselves is available to our clients around the clock. And service. When you work with a bank, typically you're just a loan number. You're going to call in to their 1-800 number in most cases, get a different person on the phone every single time, have to give your loan number, then have to pull up your file, they're going to have to try to figure out where you were in the process. You tend to have to provide documents multiple times to different people, although you've already provided them. It's very frustrating. And this doesn't apply to every bank, but this is what we hear is typical and common with most banks, and just the way the service is with those banks. With us, we know you by name. As a matter of fact, I don't know any of our loan numbers. I don't even know the property addresses that our clients are buying. What I do know is our clients' first and last names, and that's how we deal with our clients. We're open to calling, we're open to texting, we give out our personal cell phone numbers. I've had the same cell phone for 19 years. I give that number out to all of my clients, and I'm always available to respond to a text message, answer a phone call, regardless of the day. If I'm awake, I'm gonna reply, and that's how we've trained our team. So that's a huge difference when it comes to working with a lender versus working with a bank, right? The service that we provide. We're able to close loans faster. The bank might take 60 days to close a mortgage, and that's it. That's just what it is. There's 60 days to close a mortgage. If someone needs us to close in 7 days, we can close in 7 calendar days. That's a huge difference. We're not just stuck in our ways like, hey, that's it, it's 60 days, it is what it is. That also applies to the flexibility, right? It's not just on guidelines, it's on flexibility on turn times that we can offer to our clients. So these were just 3 main differences between banks and lenders. There's, as I said, definitely a multitude of differences. So if any of those things that I mentioned a lender offers are important to you, then a lender's right for you. If you couldn't care less as to when someone's available to you, or being addressed by name versus loan number and having to speak to multiple people, or you have an eternity to close on a property, then a bank might be a better option for you. As always, feel free to reach out to us, Reach Home Loans. We're always available.